It's, Hi, Laurel. Thank you for joining me. Hi, everybody. I just wanted to thank Laurel. She's our social media goddess that's joining us today. She wrote the book, Social in 17, that's available on Amazon. And today we're going to be chatting about how to do social media in just 17 minutes a day. That's so fantastic, Laurel. I'm so happy that you're joining us with your tips. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me, Mila. I'm really excited to be here and looking forward to providing hopefully some valuable information to yourself and your guests.
Oh, sweet. Well, I was really, like, I first met Laurel by going to her presentation, actually, at a networking event. And she had an hour's worth of really awesome tips for us. And, you know, really what I wanted to start off with is how did you become such a social media goddess yourself?
Thank you. Okay, first of all, thank you so much for calling me that. And to be honest, I don't have any formal training. I am one of those people that learn by making mistakes. I like to learn by doing, and I don't know if that's the entrepreneur streak in me or what that is, but basically how I ended up in the position of being able to write a book about social media marketing is I ended up sort of like in what I call like the 7 stages of like social media denial. So I was running a web design business. I had been since 2006, and I started to hear about the social media stuff, and I just kind of got super overwhelmed, and I looked around and I thought, okay, how can I possibly keep up with all this information? So that's like overwhelm, the first stage, and then I went into denial. Like, this isn't relevant. I don't need to be on Facebook for business. That's just stupid. Like, it's probably a trend. And then after that, I went into like overwhelm, where it was like, oh my God, I need to do this, and I should just sign up for every single account that there is, and I will then proceed very quickly into overwhelm, which is like the lack of ability to stay updated with everything because I didn't have a plan.
Right.
And then I was also worried about, like, how do I separate my personal and my business, and how do I actually get sales from it, and how do I stop spending like till 2 a.m. looking at pictures of cats? Like, so it was like
we always get sidetracked, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah. Cats and like high heels. Like, Pinterest is the devil for time management. So I just basically like realized that, like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. I really need to learn how to do this. Like, my competitors are like rock stars on social media, and obviously this isn't going away, and I need to adapt or die. So I just started, like, I signed up for, I don't know, like 25 or 30 different email newsletter blogs, and I would like spend 2-3 hours every single day reading about the tips and tricks to implement. And then I would try out whatever strategy sounded good with my own accounts and for my own business. And whatever worked, I would sort of make a note of and use that. And then that's been a couple of years now. So basically, here I am with, a proven set of tools that work, and not just work with like, hey, I don't look like a jerk on social media, but hey, I'm actually using this to generate sales for myself, my business, and my customers. So that's where I got up the guts to write a book about it, because what I know is actually working to increase the bottom line, which is the whole point, right, of marketing.
Yeah, it really is. It, like, we all want to be social and we all want to create connections with people, but the bottom line is that we're all running businesses here, and that we do need to make the sale, right? Eventually, you got to make a sale somewhere or get them somewhere. So you got to have a little bit of a strategy. And I wanted to actually mention about our conversation, our session that we had together about my business. And one thing I really got as a takeaway from you with our time together is that we don't have to be everywhere. You got to pick 1, 2, 3 places where that you can really excel and kind of work on those first, and then you got to pile it up like an onion, you said. So can you maybe expand on that just a little bit for us?
I would love to. So yeah, like, the number one kind of complaint that people have with social is that it's overwhelming and it's a time suck, right? So what I usually say to people is, before you jump on a whole bunch of accounts, like, stop and think about a couple things. Number one, where's your target market? Like, what's your business objective? What's your reason for being there? So if your objective is to, say, for example, show up on Google, right? Like, I personally, I really like the Google suite of accounts because they pertain to They pertain to search engine ranking, they pertain to creating great content, and they also pertain to social. So it sort of kills a whole bunch of birds with one stone.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically what I recommend is like pick one social media tool that you know your target market like is present there, and just concentrate on that thing first and get really good at doing that first. And not just good, but consistent. They say it takes 21 days to create a habit. So if you can engage with one social media account every day for 21 days, then you should be, fairly comfortable with that. And then it's so much easier to just add the next one on.
Yeah.
And similar, right? As opposed to start with like 25 accounts and and stop and quit and be inconsistent. So
yeah, and consistency I find is really key, because even as I was growing my YouTube channel, at the beginning, I probably wasn't as consistent as I probably should have been. Like, I do a weekly reading, and sometimes I miss a week. And then you don't really get, But now I'm so consistent. It's just part of my routine. It's the way it goes, and I have no problem shooting videos, right? So it's just that consistency. I do find that, people want you to be around when you say you're going to be around, right? And, and I do the cards of the day at 8 a.m. every day. And that's when I do them. They're there every day, but it's consistent. But it's about getting into a routine, and I find that, it's the scheduling, and that's part of why your book is so great, is because you can sit down in the morning and have a coffee and do all your social media for the day in just like 17 minutes. You say in 17 minutes. It can be less, it can be a little more, but and I actually think that your tips are so great for that. Help us out with, how do we do that? What's our strategy there?
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so again, the biggest thing with social media that you got to watch for is the time suck, right? Like, you could be lost in social media for hours and not accomplish any sort of business objective. So the first thing you need to do is set a timer. Like, set a timer and commit, like, okay, I'm going to do this. Like, I do my social media, same thing, like first thing in the morning while I'm drinking my coffee. And it helps me get up to speed with like what's going on in the world today and those types of things. And I do it before I check my email, because my email will just take me out for the rest of the day. So productivity tips, I think first thing in the morning is great while you're still waking up. You don't need to be particularly intelligent to be doing social media, so it's a good time when you still have to sleep, right?
That's really hilarious, yeah.
Or as an alternative, you can do it as you are eating lunch as well. So first thing, set a timer. Second thing, open up all your accounts and basically just follow like this very like a systematic thing. So stay really, really focused. Know that you're there to achieve a particular objective, and like try not to get distracted. So those are your two things. So your clock or your alarm is to help you with that. Going in with an intention to actually like network online is huge. And then once you go in, so say you're on Facebook. So the thing you want to do is you want to make 3 touches a day. So just scan through your news feed, and you want to comment, share, like, interact with basically 3 people a day. So once you do that, then you can post something like an update or whatever, and then get out and go to your next account. So this is like super bare minimum engagement, but this is like really all you need to maintain your credibility. And the thing that I usually mention is, again, before you go in, think to yourself like, hey, as a sort of like a desired outcome, in like 3 months, who do I want to have liking my comments? Like, who's my prospective client? Who is like a rock star in my industry? Who's a celebrity? Who is maybe somebody I want to hire? And start connecting with those people and liking and interacting with them. Because the big thing about social that people forget is that it is social, and you need to like give to get. So like, it's networking. It's not a sales tool. So, and stop me if I'm blabbing on too much, but like, if you kind of visualize it like going to a networking meeting, you need to like go out and like, be charming and like flirt and ask questions and like those sorts of things, and don't talk about yourself all the time. So if you just like pretend like you're in a networking meeting and you comment like, hey, I like your haircut and congrats on the new job and happy birthday, like people are like, man, I really like that Mila lady. So when you talk something about your business, they're going to be more likely to share it. So
and that's the truth too. People like to be heard and listened to and validated for what they're doing. They want to have a compliment on things and stuff like that, right? So that's part of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's about making people feel like, so essentially it's about making people feel good and making sure that you're making it about them. That's the most important thing. And and if you can do like that, those 3 touches and post an update and move on to your next social media account, that would be amazing. That would keep your credibility going. And then what I usually recommend is then just download all the apps on your cell phone. You can get it from the App Store for all the social accounts that you're on, so your Facebook, your Twitter, etc. And then just check it throughout the day as you have, a couple minutes, like you're waiting in line or something. Same way as you check your email or your texts. And if you can commit to doing those 2 things, your social media presence will be monitored. It'll look like you're on there all the time, and you're not even.
And you're not even there. That's like the best thing ever, right? Because I'm actually I used to do this the automated posts. So let's go into talking about a little bit of the automated posts. I personally use Hootsuite. I find that they're pretty darn good. So I've only had but here's the thing that I like to be present, but the other hand of me is that I get so maybe burnt out from all the readings I do, and then I do find that if I'm proactive and I set up posts for like weeks in advance, that is really helpful. And what's your view on automation for our businesses? And I'm going to touch as well, and how many times a day should we be posting everywhere? What like because I don't want to be overwhelming people with just stuff. So it's got to be valuable and directed at our audiences, right? So
Love it.
yeah. Anyway, so
okay.
That was a big question. Sorry, Laurel.
No, don't worry. So questions are automation and around how often should you be posting. Okay, so for automation, I believe that automation is certainly a tool that you can utilize to help you. The caveat is that you get what you give. So if you automate everything, you're not going to get much of a response back. But if you use it strategically to help you, then it can certainly be beneficial. So this is how I recommend you use it. So I use Hootsuite as well. I recommend it because of a lot of things. It's free. You can schedule to multiple accounts, and it's just a really great tool. So what I do is I spend one day, my 17 minutes a day, I spend one day pre-scheduling all my posts for the week. And I do that because in case I get hit by a truck, like probably I won't, but if anything happens, right, where I'm just like slammed with meetings or running late or I sleep in or something, at least I know I've posted to social media like once that day and I'm maintaining my consistency that way. Right. So that's how I use the automation. In terms of how often to post, I think it just depends more on, well, 2 things. How consistent you can be based on that. Like if you can actually implement, say, once a day, every day, then cool, stick to once a day. But if you can't do that, then once a week is fine because that's consistent, right? You're like, oh, hey, Mila's on Facebook. It's Friday, Right. So then in terms of like optimal, it's also got to do with the technology. So say, for example, Facebook. So a Facebook post that's done well can last for like almost a couple days. So sometimes you notice on your newsfeed there's posts that were posted yesterday, but there's a lot of activity, so it's coming up. Right. So Facebook post has quite a lifetime available. So what I usually recommend is 1 post per day. That's it. Don't post anymore. Right. And yeah, just 1 a day, and use a photo, like use an image or something multimedia. Don't stick to text because they've got a longer life cycle, and images increase the likelihood it's going to stay on the newsfeed and show up more on the newsfeed, which can be right. So then a Twitter post lasts like 3 minutes. So you could literally Twitter's so fast. Yeah, like I forget who said this, but it's some like social media guru, and they said if you are seeing repeated tweets from me, you need to get off Twitter. Like you're on Twitter way too much. No, seriously though, because like I know that like I have in the past when I just experiment, and also when I'm feeling really really motivated, is I posted to Twitter once an hour. Wow. Well, because every time you load Twitter, the newsfeed it refreshes and it only loads items from like the last 10 minutes. Yeah. So that's like the difference in the technology. For Pinterest, you can get away with posting to Pinterest like once a week if you want, because Pinterest posts are actually shown to have the longest lifetime. Wow. Where they will be driving traffic back to your site for like months past the time. So Pinterest, like, you could post once a day or whatever, but if you're posting, the one thing I usually is sort of like a pro tip or whatever, is don't post one thing after another after another after another. Like you've seen people who do that and it's just annoying. They clog up the whole feed. So if you're going to post, like do like 2-3 times a day. YouTube, again, like once a week is plenty. It's perfect because it lasts on the internet for a really long time. But I mean, for me, I post once a day. I take Sundays off because, it's God's day.
Nice, I do that too. I take the day off the computer because I'm busy doing readings all day anyway. So I just, I take
one day off. Like, come on, we're humans, we're not robots, right? And that's the thing too, is with the amount of stimulus that's happening with social media and how the amount of accounts that there are and stuff like that, I feel like it's really important to schedule time to do it and then schedule time to not do it. Because it can scramble your brain with too much stimulus.
Oh, it totally does. And, that's the thing. I feel all the electromagnetic rays from the computer and stuff. And then I get all, oh, no. And then, you make me feel a little bit more relieved, I got to say, because I do post once a day on Facebook and I do YouTube once a week. So I'm doing all right there. So I'm feeling pretty good, right?
You're doing awesome, Mila. Totally.
Yeah. So I'm feeling good about that. But, to incorporate more here's the thing, right? Because like we said, we want to make sales, right? So, we post these things. So should we post, once to 3 times a day, let's say on Facebook, right? When's a good time to make a sale, or should we be doing an offer even, or should we just be driving them to our freebie?
Love it. Okay, so basically the rule for me is like 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time that you're posting to social media should be things that are promoting other people, are giving information, or providing humor, entertain, engage, inspire. That's my sort of.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Entertain, engage, and inspire. That's a good one.
Yeah. So I do that 80% of the time. And what happens with that is I'm building community, I'm building trust, people are engaging with me because I'm not selling anything. And, I've got people paying attention to what I'm doing, and I'm also like promoting other people, and, I'm complimenting people all the time and asking questions and stuff. So there's engagement happening. So that's the first thing. So once you have your community engaged and there's people actually interacting back with you, it's not just you shouting into the internet and it's echoing. Once you have that happening, then you can start thinking about selling, right? And I usually do it as like a pretty soft offer. Like 2% of the time I'm on social is when I sell. And I just do things like, hey, here's a special. So let me just get into the dynamics of selling on social media. So you shouldn't make it a sales only platform, but just like networking, you want to let people know when there's something special going on. So I usually make it such as I don't post very frequently. I'm very, very specific about what that offer is. I usually offer a time when it expires, and I offer like a discount. So all of those factors combined make people take action, which is what I want them to do. So like offer a discount code or a promo code, like save the tax. This offers for 2 hours only. It's only on Facebook. First 15 people to reply.
Right.
So that's like the hard sell. That's like what I do for about 2% of the time. And then for another, say, within that 2%, what I also do is convert people to get onto my email list, which is like getting them a little bit further down the sales funnel, but not all the way to the sale.
Right.
And the reason I recommend we do that on a regular basis is because and it does happen, I mean, Facebook just changed their algorithm as such that only 20% of the people who like your fan page are actually going to see your posts. So that's like a punch in the stomach for people who've been working really hard.
Like a lot of people have been talking about it because I'm involved in quite a few groups of ladies that are masterminds, and they all own their own businesses, and everyone's like, my Facebook post just went down so much, and then we wonder as business owners and entrepreneurs, like, is it even worth it to do posts there because we're only getting seen part of the time and blah, blah, blah. But I think that if we give value and we do posts that are kind of related to what maybe our outcome, which are like our outcome for perhaps making the sale in the future, then, we make it all of our posts kind of related to that and showing our personality, because really what it is it's showing our personality, it's creating friendships, it's creating relationships. It's a little bit like dating online, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's completely about building relationships and building trust and yeah, that and A big part of, see, you can sell sort of like subtly too, right? A lot of what I do is gather social proof, and I post that out quite a bit. So that's things like anybody who has ever said anything nice about me professionally, in a way, right? So like case studies or even this interview, right? It shows that anything that'll show that I have done business with other people and other people have benefited in some way. It
Yeah.
contributes to my credibility, and it makes people think, oh, okay, like this is not a scam, this girl's for real, kind of thing. So I post that kind of stuff a lot.
Yeah.
And it's kind of selling, but not like asking for the sale. And it's a really good way also to promote other people. So say, for example, I get a testimonial from a happy customer, I can post that on my page, and so it kills two birds with one stone. It's promoting my customer, and it's also promoting that they like what I do. So
Yeah, it's a win-win, really. And honestly, Laurel, you are the real deal. Like, I mean, you gave me so much information in my assessment. I was like, oh man, and you really know what you're talking about. You are a superstar, I tell you. So, and not only did you, you explained everything to me in a really clear way where I could understand it, and I now know what I should be doing in the future to get it going even better for myself. So I thank you for that, because I've worked with you a little bit. So
oh gosh, it's my pleasure, honestly. It really, really is. And I'm fortunate in that my background's sales and not technical. So I learned all the technical stuff, but my primary motivator and what I'm just inherently good at is selling. So I don't have like all that tech, like geek speak kind of thing. So I just feel like a normal person, which is helpful for sure.
That's good. Okay, I wanted to bring up as well here about your hit list, because I remember in your show there, in the seminar that you gave, was you talked about the hit list, and your hit list person was Hulk Hogan, because you gotta love it. Sorry, I'm telling everybody this now. And I love this idea, because it's like just to reach out to somebody that maybe seems so far off the beaten track for you, and to try and like kind of stalk them a little bit, so that maybe in a nice way, of course, to get them to tweet back to you or something. I think that's an awesome. Can you fill me in on what this little hit list thing is?
Sure, I'd love to, and I'm so glad you enjoyed that. Okay, so the hit list is basically a list of like 30 people, and they are like, if you take your dream social network, like, so who you want to have like talking about you and commenting and tweeting and sharing your stuff or whatever. So if you like look forward into the future, say like 6 months from now, like who would be like your dream to have like talking about you? So I have like, my hit list is comprised of like celebrities, of people that are rock stars in my industry, are people that are, I admire, like authors, those types of things, like dream clients, those types of things. And then just like your odd random thing like Hulk Hogan, like I think Hulk Hogan is rad. And so the hit list is basically the people that when you're doing your check-in once a day, that you make sure that you touch. So like, you share, you retweet, you ask a question, whatever, right? And so if you touch these people often enough for long enough, they're going to start to notice you, because every single day they log into their account and it's like, Laurel Lindsay retweeted me, Laurel Lindsay retweeted me, she commented, shared, whatever, right? So the day that Hulk Hogan finally followed me back after me like doing this for the whole time, it was like such a win.
Yeah.
And it just shows the power of like paying attention, right? It's an attention economy. Like, so if you pay attention to someone on your hit list consistently and authentically, like not to be fake, but like because you actually want them to engage with you, more often than not, they will hit you back. They'll follow you back, they'll comment back, they'll retweet, whatever it is. And it's such an awesome feeling when they do. So I totally recommend the hit list, and definitely throw in a couple like childhood, superstars in there just to make it fun, right? Because why not?
Yeah, you have to. Like, I mean, and like imagine, like, I kind of think like Flo Rida and like Madonna. I'd love it if Madonna, like, are you kidding me? If Madonna retweeted one of my tweets, I'd be like so stoked. Like, I've been following her since I was a kid, So, I mean, I think she's going to be one of my things, but I think it's probably going to take 5 years to get a tweet back. But maybe we'll. She's on my hit list though, so there you go.
And where I actually got that idea was there's this website I follow called The Daily Love, and they just send out like a nice email every day that's like loving or whatever. And I just get so much junk mail and bad news. I figured, hey, I might as well offset it with something positive. Anyway, so The Daily Love, the guy who runs it, his name's Maston Kipp, and his story was that he was a startup entrepreneur, and he was getting this thing off the ground. And what actually really was the tipping point for him was when Kim Kardashian retweeted one of his tweets.
Wow.
Yeah, and like now he's like I don't know, hanging out with Oprah and stuff like that. So it's but it's just the power of really like dreaming big and consistently working towards expanding your connections and your relationships, because that's the thing with a lot of the social media stuff. Like, they don't need to give you permission. You can go and retweet Kim Kardashian all you want, and she can't say or do anything about it, right? So you can actually connect with people that there's no way you'd be able to in real life, and that's an opportunity that I think a lot of people forget about.
That is, it's like a huge thing there, because, I don't know how or what. I have very few Twitter followers because I don't spend a lot of time there, but like I look sometimes and I go, holy man, like this person's got 1 million followers or whatever. How did they find me? I have no idea. But then they're there and I'm like, hey, thanks for following me. And this is something that I wanted to bring up too with you, because ever since your seminar that I attended to, what I've been doing is being a little more social on Twitter, and I've gained probably about 70 something Twitter followers since like the past month or whatever. But so I thought that was pretty good, because I started out with only like 160 or something, so now I'm up to 250. So, but what it was is that you said that you got to be social. You got to say, hey, thanks for the follow. Hey, thanks for this, and like reaching out, and it's nice to connect with you and such like that. So that was a big thing that you said to me, Laurel, that really stuck with me, is that social media is just like being at a networking event.
Yeah, exactly, and that is, if you forget everything from this whole video and you just stick with that, like just act like you're at a networking event, that will really help you so much, because people forget and then they just start hard selling and they start talking about themselves, and it's off-putting. And I always just like describe this guy like who's bristling with brochures and he's talking about himself, he's got too much cologne on, and it's like that kind of thing. It's like a total don't do that moment. Right? And everybody knows that guy, right? They've got him on the social media thing, and he's just constantly pitching his stuff and nobody ever responds, yet he does it every day, and you're just like, man, get a clue, right? Because it's people, you're still interacting with people. So yeah, number one tip, act like you're at a networking event. It's a networking tool, not a sales tool, but you can use it to sell. You just have to be subtle and do it as like your third objective after building relationships.
Well, that's what I always say when I talk about networking events. I always say, because I've had really, really good good luck, for lack of a better word at this moment, but in building strong relationships for the future, just by connecting with people, and then you stay engaged, you keep on emailing, you talk, you do a video like we're doing, and then those people become your partners, your business partners for life. So you don't know who you're going to run into. I just got interviewed last Thursday for a Tune magazine, and it was lovely, and it was by meeting somebody on Facebook in one of the groups. So, and those things are just beautiful, how they can organically go. And she's in Nebraska. Who knew, right? And I'm here in Vancouver, and you're in Victoria. Are you right now?
Yeah. Right now, yeah.
So, who knows where you're going to meet these people, how it's going to be, and how you can affect them. So I always like to say, just start off with kindness and not outwit for the sale, and look to build relationships the whole time through, right? And that's where social media is going to really benefit you in the long run, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so, and what else did I want to go over with you? There was, oh, geez, I have it right here. Okay, we went over the hit list too. Sorry, I'm looking for my thing. Is there something that you'd like to mention right now, actually, Laurel?
Yeah, sure. I just, basically the biggest sort of, I'll just go through like some of the social media do's and don'ts.
Oh yes, please. That's right here on my page.
Yeah, no. It's a big section of my book, so I just remembered it off my heart, or off the top of my head. So, in terms of do's, it's kind of like having nice manners, So do engage with people that, if someone comments, if they ask you a question, if they retweet, if they something, like acknowledge that, right? Because they went to the trouble of giving you attention and they need it back. So it's kind of this concept of like an emotional bank account. So like they just put money in your bank account by saying hi, and you need to do that back. Otherwise, they're going to feel jacked. They're going to feel like a deficit. So definitely like just thank people, and like appreciation goes a really long way. So that's a big do. Do try to be consistent. I mean, we're all human, and sometimes the evil flu strikes and you're in bed for a month, but generally, as much as you can, just try to be consistent. Do provide value, like do be social. So give to get is basically the biggest do that you should do.
Right.
Another thing is a lot of people, they will put like a logo as a profile photo. I would say use like a photo, like an actual photo of yourself, and not like at Mardi Gras, like a photo that kind of is reminiscent of like back in the day, your school photo, because people want to see your face, you know, and they want to see you smile, they want to look you in the eyeball, because people are in Nebraska and they're far away, and you want to build that connection as much as possible. So do that. Make sure that in all your bios and your profile sections, make sure you've got a link back to your website, so people, or like a link to something so that people can get a hold of you if they want to, right? Because there's nothing more frustrating than trying to look for contact info and not being able to find it. So do all those things. And then in terms of don't, the biggest thing I say is like, before you do anything on social, like stop for a minute and think about what you're trying to achieve. Get a strategy together, in terms of like, at least find out where your target market is and what they care about. And if you don't know, then survey your existing customers. There's lots of free survey tools out there, but like go in with like a strategy, and that's how you're going to get the best out of your out of the time and the money that you're spending on it. I mean, social's free, which is great, but you know, probably you've sprung for an upgraded version of something somewhere along the line, and it's opportunity cost too. So, and then also just commit. Like, it's going to take some time to get some results back, and you can't expect them overnight. And then the last thing is, do you definitely have, beyond like a strategy of how to get in front of your network and your target market, but also have a strategy for conversion. So get those people off the social and get them on your mailing list, because that way, if like Facebook crashes and burns, and at least you'll have those contacts that you worked so hard to build, and then you can market to them further through email, which is great. So those are basically the things I would recommend. And then also just keep on learning, you know, just keep on learning. Things change all the time, but like, you don't have to be overwhelmed. And just remember, there's like a continuum of like experts and then people who are totally new, and you're somewhere along that. You know, you'll always be somewhere along that. You know more than some people, and you don't know as much as some people, and that's totally fine.
Yeah. Well, it's all a learning process, and that's what I've come to since I've been in business since 2008. It's just you know, it's always learning. I'm always growing. I'm always moving forward. One other really big thing, I actually wanted to talk about two things with you, because one thing was about asking for the sale. Like, I was talking about Laurel, and I love this. Okay, so I really enjoyed this, but I was telling Laurel, I said, I hate asking for the sale. I'm not a salesperson, right? So well, you got any tips on how to fix that for me or whatever? And she actually told me just ask for stuff all the time, like not on social media, but when you're with people. And then sure enough, I met somebody, and he was an auto glass guy, and I just asked him for a free windshield repair chip, and I got it right away. So can you tell me a little bit about this? Because it's about the building up the immunity to the no, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so glad that you hit me back and let me know that that went well for you. I've had nothing but good feedback from it. It's just the simplest thing. So basically, the reason that people don't ask for the sale is because they don't want to get rejected. And, you know, everybody hates rejection. The word no sucks. It's lame. So I built up an immunity early on to the word no because I heard it a lot. So if you have trouble asking for the sale, what I want you to do is, as your homework every single day, is ask for one thing that you're uncomfortable asking for. So I mean, things like, do I have to pay tax on this? Can I get a 2-for-1? Can I get a free upgrade? Can I have that for free? Can I have your pen? Can I borrow that? What's your phone number? Is that the best price you can do?
Well, you know what was funny with this guy is that I asked him, I said, what's the best deal you can do for me for my windshield chip repair? And he goes, I can do it for $25. And I was like, okay, well, and then like I sat there and talked to him for another 10 minutes. And I said, well, if it's only $25, why don't you just do it for free? And he goes, okay, come in day after tomorrow. So I got it done.
It's amazing. So you get it's a win-win because worst case scenario, everybody tells you no, and you build up this amazing immune system or immunity to the word no, and it doesn't even
Yeah.
think you don't take it personal. It doesn't like hit in the stomach, and you get free stuff. And so it's basically you get like the good and the bad. So you'll be amazed what you get for free. Like I consistently rent cars when I travel, and I always rent a compact because I'm cheap. And I always ask for a free upgrade. And I one time got a F350 when I rented like a little baby car, you know? And just because I asked. So yeah, definitely ask for things that you're uncomfortable with every single day, and then you'll find after a short period of time that you won't care anymore. It's actually funny because people can't even imagine that you have the guts to ask for certain things.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh my goodness, like what? Like the guy's friend when I asked, and by the way, I'm going to give him a little plug. It's Exclusive Auto Glass. It's on 94th Avenue in Delta here. And Scott Road, you can go and see him. He's really nice. It's Mike and Gary. Anyway, so, but when I started asking and stuff, it actually, like, when because you don't really expect them to say yes, so it's kind of funny. So you just do it, and then you have fun with it, and then that way, it becomes more lighthearted. And then when you actually do have to come down to when it's a conversation on selling, and you say, would you like to go forward, then, it feels a little bit better. For some reason, it's energetically a little bit easier to move forward on that factor, right?
Yeah, and another tip for asking for the sale from a customer, the thing I generally ask for is instead of asking a yes or no question, like would you like to move forward, for example, I offer a choice. So would you like A or B? So would you like package A or would you like package B? Would you like to go start on Monday or is next week better? Would you like to pay for that with cash or credit? Like, right? Like that's why salespeople.
Yeah, I know. Or I have Monday or Tuesday available, or whatever it is, right? And I do agree with that 100%. So because you can either go with the, package A, which has X, Y, and Z, that's maybe a little smaller, or you can go for the deluxe package, and let's go for it. And actually, I find that usually when then people usually want the deluxe package because it just sounds so much better. So there you go.
And it makes it a little bit harder for them to say no as well. So I usually recommend, and then that way you're not asking them like, hey, will you buy this? You ask them like, what would you prefer? Which feels nicer too. So.
Right. And then I wanted to talk to you a little bit about blogs, right? Because you're a bit of a blogging superstar as well, because you're Miss Social Media Goddess. I'm going to call it, that's your nickname with me. Okay. You're Social Media Goddess. And, what makes a really good blog post? What's great? How do you get it going there?
Okay, I'm so glad you asked. Blogging is so important. Okay, so what makes a good blog post? Just even like anything, just to start blogging is so good. I'm just going to say really quickly why every business owner should blog. Number one, blogging, it gives you fodder for stuff to talk about on your social media. So hopefully you're providing information that's of value to your customers. So my blog, for example, I'm fortunate in that I'm in a really technical industry, so I can explain all the technical things on my blog as to like how I'm doing right now. So it gives you a place to sort of provide expertise and help for your customers, so there's value there. Also, it's really good for Google and the search engine, so if you have a website that's updated a lot, Google looks with more favor upon your website. So that's really, really helpful. And yeah, it also gives people sort of an insider's perspective onto your business and your personality and those types of things. So usually ideal blog post is like 500 or so words. How I start blogging is I take a list of like my customers' frequently asked questions. Like I get emails all the time from my customers and they're asking me questions. And as I'm writing out the reply, I'm like, oh, hey, I could use this as a blog post.
Right.
So, because chances are if one customer is asking, 10 are wondering and they're not asking. So provide value. Make sure it's a decent length, like say 550 words or so. Go with a really catchy heading, and how you do that is you basically go to like BuzzFeed or Alltop or any of those types of websites that have sort of like lots of like top 10 reasons you should wear pink this fall, like stuff like that. Take that headline and repurpose it. So like that to make it really, really catchy, right? So that way people will
Right.
click on it. And then the last thing you want to do is think about your keywords. So this kind of goes into this other niche called like search engine optimization or search optimization.
Yeah.
If you just like think for a minute, what are people typing into Google? Like my customers, what are they typing into Google? Are they typing in like affordable windshield repair in
Yeah.
Delaware?
Right.
Right? And then you could write a whole blog post and just incorporate those keywords, make it about 4% of the words that you're using in your blog post should be your keywords. And that what that does is it gives you increased chances of showing up on Google on page one when people are typing that in. So that's
Right.
a good blog post. And then what I usually recommend is on your blog, if you can, there's like ways to make sure that there's the ability for people to share it on social media and comment, because
Right.
that'll make it go viral and get more exposure, which will lead everybody back to your site, and then hopefully they'll call you and buy either package A or B.
Right. That's great. Great. That's awesome, Laurel. The other thing that I wanted to mention with you is something that became very, very clear with me when we had our chat together is about what makes you different from the rest of the people. And then I went and took a look at your website, the newmediagroup.ca, and I saw, holy man, does she ever tell me what's special about her, right? So uh, there's like pages about it, right? And I'm thinking, no wonder she really got on me for this, right? So can you expand on that a little bit? Because I think what happens is a lot of people are shy to maybe boast about themselves, let's call it, or talk about themselves, even though we need to do that. And it is actually a selling feature because only you can do your job the way you do it.
Yeah, okay, great. I'm so glad that you asked. So, um, kind of like the basics of marketing go back to a bunch of P's. So it's product, place, price, and promotion. So the idea is that you want to optimize each of these P's to in a way that people are going to buy. So you want to have the thing that you sell in front of the people who want it, where they're looking to buy it, at a price that they're willing to pay. So that's like the super basics. Now, for anybody who's like, oh, marketing, ow, hurts my brain, just go buy Duct Tape Marketing. It's an affordable book on marketing, and it's super, super helpful. It's like honestly the best, like $13 you'll ever spend, and it'll tell you how to like get all around all of that. But basically, what you want to have is what's called a unique selling proposition. So this is basically a 30-second spiel that will communicate directly to your target audience and tell them what problem you solve of theirs and why you're different than other people. So
Right.
the reason that that's so important is because you can appeal, I mean, there's very few companies that successfully appeal to everybody. They usually have a
Yeah.
niche market. So what this will do is have it so that way when your target audience lands on your website, they'll look and be like, oh, you're exactly what I'm looking for. And they're already sold, you know.
Right.
And also for those people who land on your website and they are like shopping around and they go to 10 different websites, you want to have a reason that they stick out and why they want to pick you, right? So for
Right.
me, I'm in a super competitive industry. I do website development, I do social media marketing, and I do search engine optimization. So a couple of the things that make me different are that it's a one-stop shop, that you can get all these things in one roof, that we've been doing it forever, we've got a guarantee. There's a whole bunch of different reasons, but like if you don't know what those reasons are, you need to spend a little bit of time and figure that out. What I usually do is I go and I look at 10 of my competitors and I mark down all the things that they offer and I think like, what am I doing different? What am I doing better? And then if you still don't know, interview your customers, call them and ask, be like, why did you pick me? And they'll tell you, or you can survey them as well. But having some sort of differentiation is better. And then just a caution, competing on price is really not recommended because someone will always come along and outbid you, and then you'll be hungry and homeless. So
Right.
try to figure out some other kind of reason as to like why you're better than someone else, because competing on price, it just means that you won't have customer loyalty. They'll be totally open to going to someone else who's cheaper.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. They're just out for the bargain, right? So you really want the
Yeah.
people that are drawn to you for you.
Yeah, and the thing about bargain people too is they generally are such a hassle and you don't make any money anyways. So because their margins are so
I know
slim.
that one too because I've changed my pricing a lot since I first started out as a tarot reading and a tarot reader, And I found that when I had the low prices, it was people that were contacting me for, is my boyfriend going to leave his wife, you know? And it's like, oh God, what kind of questions are these, right? You know? And then as I upped my prices a little bit, it was more what I wanted to do, and to be social was to be there for people as they go through transformation, personal transformation, their longer sessions, right? So there's and I'm there for them for life, not just for a little while, right? So it's like, you know, when you have the $20 readings, you get the $20 people that will ask you the same question over and over again, and you're not supposed to get the same question over again in tarot either, right? So that's part of that as well. So I totally agree with you on, you don't want to be doing the price point. You want to do a price that's good for you and that's good for the people that you want. Like I actually have a little picture of my ideal client. It's really funny. I'm going to show you guys. I drew her. Hold on. Can you see her? Oops. Yeah. So whenever I do anything, I look at my little picture. She likes the outdoors. She recycles. She likes tarot. She likes YouTube. She's a bit tech savvy. You know, she's my ideal client. She's a lover of gems. It says so right there. She's her own business owner. And whenever I have this right here at my desk, so that when I do like a newsletter or a blog post, I go, okay, so this is the person that I'm looking to attract, right? So, and this is just something I started just recently, so I'm seeing how it's going. But it seems to be
a really fantastic idea, because it keeps you in the shoes of your customer, which is really important. Like, so just some differentiation tips, like really quick. If you just think about pizza, for example, so Pizza 73, right? They brought in like that, hey, do you want chicken wings and do you want fries as well?
Right.
So like that's a different, you can get like kind of like whatever, a box of whatever food, and it's not that expensive. And then like Panago is all like, are you kind of like health oriented and do you want to have more options and those types of things? And like and then there's like Pizza Hut, and it's like, hey, if you want like the full fat, baby, we got you.
Yeah. He's with sausage and the crust and whatever else, so bad.
Yeah, if you want your crust filled with like 700 more calories, like, hey, we got you.
I know.
So, but at the same time, like, it's all pizza, right? But like the Panago people are never going to order from Pizza Hut and vice versa. So like It's about claiming the market.
Yeah, that's great. You know, well, Laurel, I think that's about everything I was going to go over with you. So that is just fabulous. You shared so many wonderful tips with us today. You're just a wealth of knowledge. And I recommend that everyone go get her Social in 17 book. It's you can find the link down below. I'm pretty sure I put it there. Or if not, I'll be posting it. It's on my blog post anyways, which I'll be sharing for the what do you call it? Jesus, the replay. The word replay just lost me. Oh, that's so crazy. Anyways, Laurel, is there any anything that you'd like to say before we take off here?
I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be interviewed and, you know, contribute back to the community of entrepreneurs and business owners. I think that, you know, I really, really love helping business owners because, you know, it's lifestyle design. You get to choose your own life, and I think that more of us need to be doing that. So I'm just happy to be here. If anybody has any more questions or wants to get more tips or information, I do have a YouTube channel as well, and I do post new videos every Thursday, and I'm all over social. So if you want, you can go to laurellindsay.com and you can link up with all my social stuff. My Twitter feed's below at Laurel Lindsay, or you can just Google Laurel Lindsay, or you can find me through Mila. And I have like blog posts and videos and all kinds of stuff, and I would love to answer your questions and connect with you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Yeah, the blog posts you have are just fabulous, Lindsay, and I actually haven't seen your YouTube yet, but I'll be subscribing later today. I'm going to check it out.
Thank you so much, Mila.
It's been fabulous. You know, I'm telling you, like, it's just been like, you know, we touched base on everything social. Wow.
Yep.
And you know what? It's easily done if you just set your mind to just 17 minutes a day. That's it.
You got it, sister. All right. Thank you so much, Mila. I'm sure I'll see you around on social.
Okay, sounds
Okay.
good. Okay, bye.